I made a video a few days ago where I talked about 10 of my favourite features in the new iOS 16 update for iPhone. I'll link to that video in the description of this one. Well, iOS 16 is a pretty massive update, and as such, I've got another 10 features that I really think you ought to know about. Stick with me until the end of this video. I think some of these features are going to be real game changers for a lot of people. Oh, and just like in the last video, some of these tips will only work on iPhone XS, XS Max, XR or newer phones. And where that's the case, I'll add a caption on screen to make it clear. It will look like the one that you can see on screen now. Okay, let's get into it. Not a huge change, but you can now use the very good and often underutilized Spotlight search right from the home screen. Previously, you'd have had to swipe to access it, but now there's a search box right at the bottom of your home screen. Tap on that and you can search. And whilst I've covered it in other videos, it's worth quickly mentioning again that you can search pretty much the entirety of your iPhone using this search field. Type in whatever you like and your phone will return matches from all over, like your messages, your mail, apps that you've downloaded, other apps from the App Store, files from the Files app, reminders, photos or videos where the thing you've typed might show up. It's very, very clever and well worth getting into the habit of using. This is a great feature. It's so close to being a perfect feature, although not quite, as I'll now show you. You can set a reminder to come back to an email at a later date and time. So for example, here's an email in my inbox, and let's say that I don't want to deal with this right now, but I know that I'll want to deal with it tomorrow at 1 PM, for example. Simply swipe from left to right to bring up this purple option with a clock. You've then got some default options to be reminded in 1 hour, to be reminded tonight, tomorrow, or later, which allows you to choose a specific date and time. So I could then choose tomorrow, and I could then choose 1 PM. Now, here's where this feature goes from being amazing to being just good, in my opinion. The way that the reminder works is that you only see a reminder when you open up Mail. Basically, at the desired date and time, Mail will move the email to the top of your inbox, and you can see that we've got this Remind Me tag with a clock next to it. If I tap into the email, I can then tap Edit, then Remove Reminder to remove the reminder, and then when I return to the inbox, the email will have bounced back to where it was. I can't tell you how much I wish that this would function like an actual reminder, popping up on screen with a link to get back to the email at a specific date and time. You can technically do that, by the way, using a workaround which I've featured before on this channel, Siri. Simply access it using whatever method you'd normally use, and with the email open on your phone, say, remind me about this tomorrow at 1 PM, for example. Siri will create a proper reminder for you using the Reminders app, and that reminder will link you right back to the email. Before we continue, a quick word from the sponsor of today's video, Samsung. This is the T7 SSD, one of their second generation SSDs with all the hallmark features of their popular T7 range. It's super sturdy, light and compact. Despite that size, you can pick one up in a 500 gig, 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte configuration. This kind of large storage is great for storing and transferring any supersized files you have, maybe high-res graphics, videos and the like. Overheating isn't an issue here. There's a thermal control built in, designed to keep the drive at a safe temperature no matter how hard you push it. And push it hard you can. This thing offers a sequential read-write speed of up to 1050 megabytes a second and 1000 megs per second respectively. It makes for a great travel companion as it can take falls from 2 meters, so drop it out of your bag onto, say, a train platform and it'll keep your data safe. For extra security, you can password enable it. It has an AES 256-bit encryption. In simple terms, this is the longest key length possible and is the strongest standard of encryption commercially available right now. If you own a business or carry around any sensitive or personal data, it's a reassuring safety net. So a lot of exciting claims for this credit card sized drive. Samsung is so confident in these features, they've attached a 3-year limited warranty to this, which is encouraging. If you want to find out more or pick up a T7 for yourself, there is a link in the description of this video, and thanks again to Samsung for sponsoring this video. Dictation has been massively improved in iOS 16, allowing you to create much more natural paragraphs of text without having to get too granular about inputting things like punctuation. In fact, this entire paragraph of text for my script has been input entirely using the dictation tool on my iPhone. I didn't type any of this out. You don't have to do anything to set this up or configure it. Simply tap the dictation tool in the app of your choice and speak naturally. Your phone will transcribe what you say and construct your text as you go along, inserting punctuation as it deems fit. You can also use dictation and the keyboard together at the same time, so if there are any little errors or things you feel that you'd need to change, you can simply tap on the screen to make the changes, then get right back to dictation. You can delete a message thread in the Messages app. Nothing particularly unusual about that. You've been able to do that for a while now. However, you can now recover deleted threads for up to 30 days after you've deleted them. Once you've deleted a message thread, return to the main page of Messages and you'll see a recently deleted filter. Tap into that, and if a message thread is showing in here, you can select it and recover it, returning it to the usual part of your Messages app. If you delete a message thread and do nothing, it will eventually delete fully, but as the app says on this screen, that can take up to 40 days unless you come here and fully delete it. So keep that in mind if you're deleting message threads to free up space on your phone. Good news for sports fans, you can now track your favourite team or teams in the News app. This feature currently works for people in the US, UK, Canada and Australia, although as ever, you can expect features like this to drip feed out to the rest of the world over the coming weeks. To set the feature up, open the News app, ensure that you're looking at the Today section and scroll down to the Sports section. It's quite a long way down, so it might take a moment to get there. Then under My Sports, tap on Get Started underneath the Follow Your Teams heading. If asked to switch the feature on, you'll need to do so, but then from here, you can either browse or search to find the sports and teams you want to follow. The quality of the information that you receive here is going to vary for the time being on the sport and the team. So here, for example, you can see that I'm only able to view news information about Middlesbrough FC, but then if I add in a team from the Premier League or some teams from US sports, I can get much more rich information like schedules, recent scores, etc. Hopefully this will expand and grow over time to cover more sports and more teams. When you first buy an iPhone, a feature that's on by default is the click noise that's made when you type. Most people tend to switch this off because I think for most people it's quite annoying, but I do understand that some people find this really useful and so leave it on. There is now an additional function here which you can try out that might also help when you type, and it's called the Haptic Keyboard. Head into Settings, then choose Sounds and Haptics, then Keyboard Feedback, and you've got these two options. Sound is the option I was just talking about. Your phone will play a little tap sound when you're typing, and you can toggle that on and off if you wish. The new function is haptic. Essentially, this makes your iPhone screen behave more like a real keyboard, where each time you tap a letter, a tiny vibration will happen under the screen. It can't be heard by other people, but you'll notice it as you type. It's something that you need to try out for yourself to see if you find value in it or not, but I love it, and I've now got it enabled on my phone. The Home app has been redesigned from the ground up, and whilst I'll likely cover the Home app in greater detail in a future video, it is worth quickly showing you how this has changed. Rather than having to constantly check to see which room you're in, like you did previously, everything is now shown to you at a glance, including summary information up at the top of the screen. So now if I want to switch on my coffee machine or power off all the lights before bed, all of that information is easily accessible from anywhere in the Home app, and you can still navigate into specific rooms as and when you need to. If you're enjoying the content here, why not consider signing up to my newsletter, The Proper Weekly? I include some tech news from the week, a behind the scenes of what's happening here on the channel, as well as a short guide for a product in the Apple ecosystem. I send the newsletter out each Friday, it's free to sign up, and the link is in the description of this video. The live text function that allows you to extract and interact with text inside of photos now works with videos in iOS 16. The video needs to be paused in order for it to work, but if I locate a suitable video within my photo library and then pause when there is some text visible, I can then tap and hold on that text and I can interact with the text just like I would if this were a photo. I can select the text, copy it to paste it elsewhere in my iPhone, and all of the other things you would expect to be able to do with text. One other addition to live text in general is the ability to interact with data in live text. So here, for example, in this screenshot of an order in Apple Wallet, you can see that if I tap on the live text button down at the bottom, my phone has identified 250 grams as a piece of data from within this image. If I tap down here at the bottom left, my phone has automatically converted that into kilograms, ounces, and pounds. This works for text in both photos and videos, and it works for things like conversions of weight or money, translating languages, and tracking flights. There's a new filter that you can activate within the Mail app called Follow Up. This is where your Mail app will filter to only show you mail that you've sent where you've not received a reply from the person at the other end. To activate it, open the Mail app, tap Edit up at the top right of your screen, and ensure that Follow Up is enabled. Then when you tap into that filter within your mailbox, you'll be able to see the mail that you've sent where you're awaiting a response from the other person. A great productivity tool if you know that you then need to prompt that person for a reply. You can now create and share tab groups in Safari. You'd follow the usual steps to create a new tab group, which I'll quickly recap if you're unsure. From the start page of Safari, tap this button in the lower right of the screen, then press this downward facing arrow in the middle. Choose New Empty Tab Group. Give the tab group a name, and then begin opening new tabs, which will form the tab group. Then, when you're happy with your tab group, tap the icon in the bottom right once again, and tap the Share button up in the upper right of the screen. Choose the person you'd like to share with, and the method of sharing with that person you'd like to use. You could message it to them, for example. That person will now be able to open the tab group on their device, so a really handy tool if you're working on a project perhaps and want to share everything in one go rather than sending lots of tabs individually. So there you go, 10 more features available to you now in iOS 16. If you haven't already, check out my other 2 iOS 16 videos. I've got one where I've detailed 10 other features that I really like, and one where I walk you through the new lock screen. I'll link to them both in the description of this video. What about you? What new features are you really enjoying in iOS 16? Likewise, what were you hoping for that didn't materialize? Drop me a comment and let me know. And as ever, if you found this video useful, do please consider leaving me a like and subscribing to my channel for more content like this in the future. See you on the next video.